Chapter 7. Only when we get back home does the high priest realize he's left the cactus behind on the sidewalk, in front of the home where the old women live. Now I have no present for Elena. You can get her something when we get to England. What I don't say is that I doubt very much Elena would have wanted a plant looking like green eggs with thorns. And speak of the devil, the phone rings and the high priest answers. It's Elena. I jump up onto the little table where the phone is kept and get up on my hind legs so I can put my ear close to the receiver. You were calling earlier than you said you would, the high priest says. I'm very tired from the trip and would like to go to sleep. How is Alexander? He's just fine. He slept for almost the entire flight and on the train ride from London to Bath. Have you met your hostess? No, she won't be back for a few days. She sent her major domo to pick me up at the train station, and he's looking after me. How is the house? It's gorgeous. It's in the Royal Crescent. The view from the front windows is spectacular. There's a luxury hotel a few doors away, and I've been given a card so I can use the hotel spa. I was there earlier to swim in the pool, which is modeled on a Roman bath. But tell me about you. Not much to say. Rapa Haman spent the day listening to music, and I was reading. I hope Elena can't tell the high priest is lying. Well, good night, my dear, she says, yawning. We'll talk tomorrow about your coming here. She adds, I love you. I love you too. What am I, chopped liver? I say. I love you too, Puss in Boat. That's better. I hear a click. She's hung up. What's for dinner? I ask the high priest. A surprise. Something I've had before? Maybe, he says, nudging me out of the kitchen. Off I go to the library. Should I listen to an opera, browse through a magazine, or take a nap? I choose the nap, but then see the electric train set. A few days before Elena received the letter from England, she found the dusty boxes in the attic and brought them down to the kitchen. The electric train belonged to her father, she said, but both of them used to play with it, and she thought the three of us would have fun setting it up and playing with it together. But first, the entire train set had to be cleaned. Elena polished the steam locomotive and the passenger cars. The high priest was given the task of shining the tracks. I had to clean the bridge, the semaphore, the mountain, the station, and station furniture, the village complete with homes, storefronts, trees and lampposts, and numerous lead figures, animals as well as people. When the cleaning was over and we'd cleaned ourselves, we moved the whole lot to the library. Elena cleared the huge desk of the piles of books, and we laid down the tracks. Then she put the transformer on the desk, the electrical cord into the extension cord, and clipped the two thin wires connected at the front of the transformer to the tracks. Next, all three of us added the accessories and the figures. Finally, Elena placed the shiny black steam locomotive on the tracks, and the high priest and I added the freight cars, the gondola, and the caboose. It was ready to go. Elena wheeled the desk chair, now stacked high with books, over to the desk, picked me up, and set me on top of the books. You can't stay on the desk while the train is running, and this is just the perfect height for you. Then she announced, All aboard! She was about to turn on the transformer when I asked her if I might do it. She agreed, despite the high priest's jealous protest. She explained that first I had to turn the knob all the way to the right so the electricity would go to the tracks. That's when the locomotive's headlight and the light in the caboose would come on. To make the train move, I had to turn the knob all the way back to off and then again to the right. I had to do this slowly so the train wouldn't go too fast and derail. And so, with bated breath, I turned the knob. But no lights came on. You must have done it wrong, said the jealous high priest. Elena checked the wiring. I turned the knob again, and again nothing happened. After we tried several more times with the same result, she uttered a few colorful curses, then decided the fault was most certainly with the transformer. The next morning, it was sent somewhere out of state to be repaired. By the time it came back, days later, Elena was in the midst of shopping for the trip. The high priest promised he'd hook the transformer up, but true to form, he never got around to it, and the unopened box has been sitting on the desk ever since. Why don't I hook up the transformer myself? I'll surprise him. After all, he has a surprise for me for dinner, and one surprise deserves another. I jump on the desk, slice the tape sealing the cardboard box with my claws, and take the transformer out. It's heavier than I thought, but giving up is out of the question. With considerable effort, I place it where Elena did, near the edge of the desk. I fasten the clips to the tracks and insert the plug into the extension cord, which is hanging from the arm of the desk chair. I don't remember anybody plugging the extension cord into the outlet when we set up the electric train. Did Elena tell me to do it? I now recall something to that effect. But then she promised to make fresh popcorn for us to eat while watching the train in motion. The thought of buttery popcorn knocked everything else out of my mind. Oh, for the love of Bastet! I dread to think what Elena would say to me, nothing good for sure, if she found out I'd made her waste money to repair a perfectly good transformer. I get on the floor and follow the extension cord under the desk to the outlet. I plug the cord in, crawl back to the chair, climb up, and sit on the pile of books Elena has conveniently left. "All aboard!" I cry, then follow her instructions to a T. Slowly, the train leaves the station. The semaphore at the crossing turns from green to red, and the gate comes down to stop cars. When the train has passed, the light turns green again, and the gate is lifted. Wonderful. But there's no smoke coming out of the locomotive. I remember Elena using an eyedropper to take a small amount of liquid from a little bottle and put it in the smokestack. She said the liquid was resin and would turn into smoke once the train was in motion. Maybe she didn't use enough resin. Luckily, the little bottle is still there on the desk. I stop the train, then, dispensing with the eyedropper, pour resin into the smokestack and restart the train. It passes a field of cows, climbs up the mountain, disappears into the tunnel, and reappears on the other side of the mountain. But still no smoke. I'm about to give up hope when smoke begins to come out of the stack in small puffs. Soon the little locomotive is shooting smoke like the steam locomotives I've seen in old movies on TV. So realistic. It's beautiful to see the train pass through the village, leaving a trail of smoke behind. What a marvelous invention this is. The smell of the smoke makes me feel as if I were in a pine forest. So soothing. And the noise the train makes, so rhythmic, so hypnotic. Ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta. I can't keep my eyes open. Ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta. I'm dozing off. "What the hell is going on?" The rude remark has a familiar voice. The high priest yells at me to turn the train off. I open my eyes. He's audible, but not visible because the library is filled with smoke. I feel fresh air rushing into the room and hear heavy footsteps moving toward me, followed by a loud crash and curses even more colorful than those Elena used when the train didn't work. The room clears of smoke. The high priest is massaging his right foot. The entire train, along with the transformer and most of the tracks, is on the floor. After a series of accusations on his part and protestations of innocence on mine, we agreed that the excess smoke was caused by a fault in the locomotive. We also agreed to put the electric train set back in the boxes and return them to the attic. By the time Elena comes home, she will have forgotten all about the electric train. The high priest decrees the work will be done after dinner, and since dinner isn't ready, I should employ my time by separating the tracks still on the table. Limping slightly and cursing heavily, he leaves the library to return to his culinary tasks, and I start on the tracks. The little bottle of resin is still on the desk. There's a warning printed on the label, faint but still readable. The locomotive has to be in motion for several minutes before it'll produce smoke. Do not overuse the resin because this will create excess smoke. Sharing this information with the high priest would only remind him of his painful foot, so I toss the bottle into the wastepaper basket and go back to separating the tracks. Smoke. I smell smoke. But this time it isn't in the library. I rush out of the room, follow the smell to its source in the kitchen, and find the high priest holding a smoking oven mitt under an open faucet. What happened? A minor setback, nothing to worry about. Everything is under control. I hope Elena will tell us we can leave tomorrow. If we spend another day on our own in the house, there'll be no house. What are we having for dinner? We were having lasagna. That's great. But why do you say were? I'm afraid the lasagna has gone the way of the mitten. I see. We have to leave tomorrow. What about scrambled eggs? The high priest asks apologetically. Would you like that? With bacon? Of course. Count me in.